Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. I am Crimsen, and you're joining the Simple Studio feedback stream. And today we are joined by we're joined by Joseph Crime, who is a legend, who is a great producer. He's also signed to Purified. He's signed to a lot of good labels, including Immersed, and his music is pretty dope. We're gonna be giving you some feedback. Yeah. Any introductory thoughts, man? You wanna tell people about yourself?
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Can't wait to listen to the music, and yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Yeah,
This
this
is
is
good.
great, man.
This
There's
is
so many tracks.
Yeah, yeah, this is going to be vibes. Joseph is going to be, playing a lot in Montreal. He's going to be playing with me in Montreal for the Immerse Showcase. So if you guys happen to be around there on July 14th, I believe, we will be going live, and it will be a good vibe. It'll be a great time. So yeah, a lot of secret weapons to be showcased in that situation as well, and it's going to be a great time. I'm super excited for this. Joseph, okay, so let's go to the feedback channel, and let's go and pick out the first one. I think that's the KX5 Sleep Eat Sleep one. Let me know if you can find that one. And everybody else, can you
Yeah,
hear us okay? Can you hear Joseph okay? Nod twice and blink three times if you can. I think we're fine. You want to load it up?
yeah,
Do you have the tracks
yeah,
loaded up?
yeah,
Okay,
uh,
so I guess we can
yeah.
start in one, two, three. Let's go.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was an ID from
Wait, wait.
Sleepy Atom.
1 second, 1 second.
Right. So
Hello? Can you? Yeah, yeah. My song was still playing, but yeah,
for
go
you.
ahead. Go ahead, man. What do you think of this one?
Okay, so idea is cool. First thing that surprised me was the when the break arrives,
Mhm.
you have like the pad after the kick and the drum. You have the pad. It's so static. It almost felt like the song was like frozen in some. I mean, it needs a bit more movement, I think, because the pad is so static. I think it lacks some movement. So that's for sure. Also, I think I would have liked to see some effects, some transition between the sections. It's a bit dry. You have like the main part and then the break, and it's just you just have the pad else, no like fills, no effects. It felt a bit dry, so I think more effects would complement the track. The vocal is cool. I wasn't sure of some chords throughout the track. I think there's one or two notes in the chords that doesn't feel well the track, but I'm not sure. What do you think, Crimson?
I to me it was
Not sure about the chords.
yeah, I think one of the things that was that stood out to me a bit was that like lead square thing was super loud to me. So there's a few things that you can fix about the mix. Like there are certain things that was super loud. The kick and the bass were pretty like I liked it, but I think they're also like compared to every other instrument, it's a little loud as well. But in general there's a lack of arrangement a bit. I think arrangement needs to be fixed a bunch. I think that's the main thing that I would focus on, and making sure that you have a nice transitionary element, and you have like modulation on the small things a lot. That's the most important thing. Like having modulation is it makes or breaks a track, right? Especially in melodic house when things are so simple, you need to have some slight like adjustments here and there, whether it's be open up the cutoff, maybe like adding like layers to a chord sound so it has like some white noise, or like like more sustain, more decay to like embellish the chords itself. That would be good. I think there's also a lot of reverb on the vocals a little bit. Maybe you can like turn down the reverb to be a little bit more cleaner and clearer and upfront than like pushed in the back. What do you think, Joseph?
Yeah, it's true. I think the mix is not there yet, but like you said, yeah, I would feel like I would do more effects, more drums, more variation into all the sets you use. And um, yeah, I think I would check the arrangement again, some more stuff in between sections, a lot more actually, because it's too static for me. The
Y-
idea is cool, and yeah,
Yeah, I think I agree
it
with
needs more work.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Go
Like
ahead, man.
I think the idea is great, but just needs a little bit more polishing. I think it needs more like, focusing on what's going on in the, what's new, etc. Every 16 bars, and like something added. So there's just like spending more time on this track, I think, would be the more common thing. And the Splice is keeping on jumping in. I don't know why Splice wants to open and play right now. But all right, so that's pretty much it for this one. Hey, out east, how's it going, Adam? Hope you're doing well. And thanks for joining. Now we're gonna go to the next track, which is Ellipsis Gravitational Neutrality. Let me know when you're ready, Joseph, if you have that track open.
It is.
Okay,
So,
I'll count down. Let's count
so
down. 3, 2, 1. Let's play. There you go.
O-
That was a very
Okay.
clean track. I really
Yeah.
liked how like simple and clean it was. In terms of mix, I think it sounds pretty dope in terms of mix. I don't think there's any issues that I have with the mix per se. What do you think, Joseph?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, yeah, I was out for a few seconds, but I listened to the track. I loved it. The instruments, the Middle Eastern instrument, I love that. It really has a Amulanga label vibes. I don't know if that's what he was going for, but this is a really cool track. The drop at 128, I think it would maybe a little bit more element. It was a bit dry,
Hmm.
and there was a huge build up before the final drop. That was cool, but it would be better with more delays and reverb. I think the soundscape was really good on this one.
Hmm.
And then again, the drop was a bit dry,
Yeah.
maybe mix and stuff, but the track is really cool, has potential. So I think more effects, more like, or I don't know,
Ear
a bit
candy?
like, yeah, yeah, Eric and a lot more. I think the drop were a bit dry, but the rest is fantastic. The
Yeah.
music is really, instruments are really lovely. Great job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think in general, like you have I think this is what I would consider like the fundamentals are there. You know, like all the fundamental things that you need to do, you have that. Like all the things that make the track like a good mix, etc. You have that there. Now it needs to be more about the excitement within the track. So like when you do build up, sometimes you don't want it to like the energy to just die out just before the drop, right? Like you want the energy to continue throughout to the drops rather than like going into
Yeah.
silence and then restarting with the drop. That kind of like takes away the tension. You want to keep the tension going, and then at the end you just like sustain and release at the end. You just like have like a release where the delays keep going or something or the other, just like consistently going. And yeah, and have more. You could do more with the Middle Eastern vibe. Actually, there's so many other instruments or even vocals or something that you can add in order to keep the background atmosphere exciting and keep adding ear candy every like 16 bars, 8 bars, etc. And alternate between ear candy. The way I like to do it is like I like to like create ear candy from the instruments itself. So for example, you have like that oud like instrument, right? So you could use that oud and then like maybe add a lot of reverb and delay, and then reverse it and add it in different parts of the track, etc. And yeah, create more excitement that way. In terms of like mix down, man, it's fantastic. I think it's just that in the creativity aspect, I think I would add more small subtle things that keep people engaged within 16 bars, right? Like once the drop is going, I think it gets a little boring on the dance floor. It's because like when listeners are listening to music in the dance floor, they're not trying to think, is this mix good or whatever. Your mix is great, but what you want people to like just be engaged, especially in like ADHD nation that we have right now, where everybody's so like small attention span. You want to make sure that you're always constantly adding some excitement, and it doesn't have to be in an extravagant ways, like something like drum loops everywhere or drum rolls everywhere, but some small things you can do to keep this exciting. But overall, really good track in terms of the mix. I love how the low end was so tight. The kick sounds so nice. That's one thing I don't say often. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. All right, Adina Noah, for you. Joseph, let me know when you're ready, and we can do a countdown to start this one.
Do the countdown. I'm
All
there.
right, let's go. 3, 2, 1. this is outro.
Nice. Yeah,
Nice track. What did you think, man?
yeah. Adina Nova, really cool track. So many emotion. I love that. This is really cool. You have a lot of melodic elements and the pads, and then it's just, this is a really cool track. Uh, Noticed a few small things. I think during the first break, introduced like the hat and the clap, and it doesn't make sense because it was super thin. And if you could remove them or put the whole drum, it would add more groove. During the break, at some point, you start hearing the hi hat and the snare for no reason, and it's just in the background. I don't know why. This one I didn't like that so.
Oh no. Did we lose him? We lost him. That's unfortunate, guys. But okay, I'm gonna finish.
Yeah,
Okay, I hear you back. You're back. You're back.
I'm back. Okay,
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
hell? Sorry.
No worries.
But yeah,
What was the last thing you were saying?
yeah. Overall, I love the session because at first you think it's a minimal, and then you have like a second part of the drop, which is adds interest. I think this is really cool. It could need maybe a little bit more work, like more bit more tightness in the overall drums and groove, but it's still really good track. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I think the creativity was amazing. I loved the breakdown a lot. I think one thing that just I heard is like the lead was a little too saturated for my taste and a little too loud. That one you want to like maybe tame a bit and like maybe bring down a little bit. Like it's very upfront and like it's getting a little it becomes a little harsh on your ears because of the saturation. So maybe turn down the saturation a tiny bit, like use your ear as judgment and then bring it down even more a little bit. The breakdown was beautiful. I love the breakdown. Again, like I agree with what Joseph was saying in the fact that um, the hats are kind of come out of nowhere sometimes, so you want to like have a very clear purpose of like 16 bars or something. And like if you're using hats and the hats are generally very thin, then maybe introduce like maybe another top loop that just supports it a little bit better and has more volume. I think that would be another thing. The other thing was like this track is long, but I think your outro needs to have like more layers out of it, layers, so that you're like peeling things off one at a time rather than like all together. Because I noticed like you have a bunch of things going on here at this part, and especially in the part where there's like around 6:30, like 6 o'clock, 6 minute actually, it's 6 minutes in, and then after 6 minutes you're like there it's missing that like slowly going away. So if you listen to artists like Christoph and other artists, you'll notice how they slowly peel away one thing at a time, and then it just like shaves off nicely. But overall, I think this was my favorite track today, for sure. So far, this one is pretty cool. It has like, especially the breakdown was special. I really liked it. I felt all the emotions. And the vocal that you had right at the end of the breakdown, I think maybe if you even had it during the breakdown or something, that would be cool, because there's a lot of space for that. There's a lot of time in between this thing that you can have. Yeah,
Yep, totally. Yeah,
yeah, I think that's pretty good. But so far, this is like the track of the week, so I'm just gonna put it at the front. So, oh, by the way, if your track is chosen as the track of the week, you will you will get an hour one-on-one call with the one and only Joseph Crime. so yeah, so be hyped for this. Like whose track is chosen as the track of the week will get that. So all right. The next one,
nice.
this person, Christopher, actually submitted the track. He submitted his track that's already been released on Spotify. So I guess the advice would be for the future. The feedback would be for the future. But when you're ready, let me know.
Yep, I
Oh,
am.
okay. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
One.
Oh, wait. I gotta go on Spotify and find this track. Eyes by Christopher. For Yeah, found it. Christopher Robin. All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Ooh.
Oh, second track, my bad. It's Eyes. I've been playing the wrong track. I'm just gonna start again.
Yeah.
Alright. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't
I
do
love-
drugs. Joseph, your video is off.
Oh. You hear me?
Yeah,
No. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's just a video.
But you don't have the video. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't
It's
even
a-
see the my.
It's okay, we'll just listen to the song. We're 2 minutes in.
It's a 2 minute 15 anyways.
Yeah. Interesting. It's a fade out.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think of that one? It's an interesting track.
Yeah, so I love the soundscape. Really, really cool track. I mean, since it's a 2 minute track, it seems it's a part of an album or an EP. I
Yeah.
think it's fine. This, I mean, it's for a 2 minute track part of an EP or an album. I think it's fantastic. I mean, I love the soundscape.
Hmm.
I mean, it's great. I love it. I mean, it sounds good,
Hmm.
and I have nothing much to say, which is really, really good. I would love to have done a track like this. I think it sounds cool, man. For a 2 minute track, it's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I like the. So there's certain limitations of having a 2 minute track, right? And the limitation is like, you can't have a breakdown, you can't have like a story with like building up and then dropping again a lot. And so it becomes like a little bit loopy, but I think the vibe that he set with the loop is so beautiful. I think it really, it sounds really good. And in general, just the approach to the song is pretty good. I would definitely, it's kind of difficult to play these tracks out. And instead of having a fade out, instead of having a fade out on these kind of tracks, it would be better if you just like end it after the loop with an effect or something, like having an effect and like ending it out at the end of the loop is better than just fading it out slowly, because then it doesn't become like a good radio edit, neither does it become a good track to mix in, right? Like it's kind of like it's a difficult situation to be in, unless you lost the project or something, and then then you have no other option but to fade it out, right? But generally, I would just like add like a white noise or something, a slight or subtle, like percussion effects to fade it out, etc. Even in a radio edit, I don't think a fade out is necessarily like the best way to approach it. I think even in a radio edit, you should have like some way to transition into the next track with like some sort of effects or whatever. So radio edits generally also have like some way of ending it nicely without it fading out. So okay, so that was our third. Sorry, this is the fourth track. It's a really nice track, but still, I think the creativity within the arrangement, like we can't really give too much. I can't really give too many points on that because there's not much going on in that part. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so the next song, let's go back to the feedback stream channel, is a Dream. Hefe Dream Volume 1. All right, ready for this?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, let's go. I think it's just outro from here.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah. What's
All
your?
right. Hefe. Okay, I have to say this is really a good track. I have a couple notes, but overall, I think it's my favorite so far. All right. At minute zero for at 47 seconds, I think the vocals surprised me. It was a bit dry and out of nowhere. Maybe like a reverse reverb trick
Mhm.
would be classic, but I think it would work. But that's a minor thing. Then at 1 minute 26, it felt like it was, I don't know, it felt like it was a start of a breakdown or something. It was like less elements. I don't know why. And it just I don't know. I wasn't sure about that. But then the thing is, the breakdown. It felt like a completely new track. Was awesome. The vocal and the melody you introduce at the start of a breakdown. It felt like an amazing track. I really love it. Yeah, man, this is great. And because the melody is I liked it. It doesn't get boring throughout the track. So this is really cool. Yeah, I mean, I think the rest is a couple mixed things. Like I think the vocal gets drowned in all the elements towards the end of the track. Maybe use track spacer or sidechain, but that's still a minor mixing thing. And also the strings at the main drop, you hear like strings super high. It could be introduced later. It would add more energy throughout the track. But other than that, the main like idea is awesome. I really like it. What do you think, Crimson?
Yeah, man. I think the idea is pretty great. I love the vocals. I think there's some. Obviously, it's not mixed, so you just need to do a little bit of mixing
Yeah,
things. It's pretty
yeah,
close to being mixed, though. I would say.
yeah.
Yeah, it sounds super cool. I love it's all a dream, and then just the response with the strings where you have like da, 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 da-da-da-da-da-da. I think what you would need to do is like arrange it a little bit better. I think this arrangement where this over here you go into just like the around like 2 minutes. I think it starts off. I think it was 126 minutes. No,
Mm,
it was at 206, I think. Where it drops and then it's you're introducing the strings and the like the short string stuff early. I think that you could hold off on the short string stuff and maybe slowly bring it in either by like automating the cutoff of like a filter, or just bring it after just the start of the drop, because you're introducing some new things in the drop, right? I love the groove of things. I love how like the toms work with the hats and the drums and the kick drum, as well as like with the brassy elements. Though I did feel like one brassy element in particular was a little short. So you want to just make sure it has a little bit of release, so it just like just fades out with like grace, rather than just like immediately goes away. But in general, I think the track was pretty good. I love the build up. I definitely enjoyed the end part. Obviously, I also think the outro is a little like long. I think you can really like shorten that part as well, because by that time like people will just start mixing out, and if it just keeps going the same way, if you want to keep the outro going that long, then you definitely have to have certain changes going on within it to keep things interesting as well. Anything else you want to add to this one?
No, this is good. I think you really should polish it and finish it. I'm sure you're gonna sign this. Yeah, if you really finish the whole thing, and yeah, I think it's almost there, man. It's a lovely track. Good job.
Nice. So the last track there was another track by Hefe, which actually he changed the link. So go back to the feedback stream channel, Joseph, and find the other one. And then there's another track by D. So like we'll get back to you, Hefe, on that track. We'll just listen to the Momentum by Your Luck first. So let me know when you have that
I'm ready.
with Your Luck, right? Momentum.
Yeah, moment on your luck.
All
That's
right.
it.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
One.
Joseph, you want to go first?
Yeah, all right. Your luck, momentum, cool. All right, couple things. Track sounds are really mix and master, although I think there's a few stuff need to be fixed. Uh, so you have like at the 1 minute mark, you have like the stabby thing. I think it's a bit loud and it conflicts with the drum groove. So maybe not necessarily with the side chain, but maybe like write it in a different way so it fits the groove because I think it's a conflicting a little bit. But I wanted to say one thing. You kind of did the call and response thing. I don't know if you know that if it was intentional, but call and response is the thing that people years to understand, and you did it.
Yeah.
I think it could be like in a way, in a much better way, but still, I think this track has a lot of potential. You have a lot of like big leads and then drums, and it feels like a call and response. But if it was tighter and more in sync, it would be an amazing track, man. So I was surprised actually to hear that a call and response thing. I don't often hear that
In
in
music,
people
right?
started doing music. So
Yeah.
yeah, what do you think, Crimson?
Yeah, man, I think this is the one you nailed it in the head in the terms of the call and response. This track has like I keep trying to like nail that into my students' head that like yo, just focus on call and response and everything else will just become catchy automatically. Things will just become like
Yeah,
memory like for people when they're listening to it. There are like a bunch of things that I noticed that are going on in this track that you need to really fix before you're sending it out or something is like one you have like a groovy bass going on which is like a percussive bass, but then when the droney bass comes in it drowns all of the lower end in it, so like now I can't hear the kick's low end. I can't separate the kick from the groovy bass from the drone bass. That drone bass, you either if you're using it for a bass, then you want to make sure that you sidechain things appropriately. So you sidechain like the kick drum and the groovy bass to the sustained bass so that it just like ducks out whenever the kicks happen, because the groove is king. Like you need to make sure that the groove is always there, and the instruments are like the lead instruments are super loud. Like they're like actually very loud. You want to like make sure they're like tamed well, and I think one way to do that is to reference a track well and just like look at their spectrum by using a spectrum analyzer, and just look at like how loud do the leads go, how loud are they in terms of like the dB level, and then based on the dB level compare yours after master and compare theirs, right? And then you see like, okay, mine are like 10 dBs higher or like 5 dBs higher. Then you're like, okay, I need to like really tame them down. But you need to have a reference track, otherwise everything will be based on your ears, and if your ears are not super trained, then it'll cause a lot of issues, because in the later on you'll because your instinct hasn't been built up at that point of time. But the call and response stuff I really liked. The other thing is the arrangement. I think the arrangement, you kind of like just rely on the call and response elements to just switching out the elements for call and response to progress the track. But you need to either progress the energy by increasing 16th hats, rides, etc., creating a breakdown with like everything with everything filtered, and then opening up the filter, etc. You need to create tension and release between your track in the track. It just seems a lot was going on where it was like the like underground loop was consistently consistently the same, but the thing that was changing was just the elements that were on top, which were the lead elements. Now you can change the lead elements to signify a change, but you also should be messing around with stuff. So for example, getting rid of the drums and just having the kick, bass, and the elements, and then like adding like a tension string or something, and then building it up where you get rid of all of the kick and the bass, and then bam, back to like just the kick and the bass and the newer call and response stuff. So yeah, that's kind of one way I would recommend you approach things. Just make sure the bass, the low end, is tight by getting rid of like the wrong frequencies that conflict, or the frequencies that conflict. You want to make sure your bass, the low end, is super tight, because you kind of lose the low end as soon as that like bass comes, that sustained bass comes in.
agree.
Nice. So the next one we have is again Hefe, but with Stello.
Oh
Memories.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. 3, 2, 1, let's go. pretty good. I think this is outro.
Yeah.
Man, that
Wow.
was fantastic, man. This is a proud teacher moment here.
Yeah.
Hefe joined like my mentorship program about, I think it's been like 3 months ago, and yeah, man, his significant
Yeah.
progress on this.
Yeah. A fucking nice track, man. Wow. I'm.
What, any input? Did you have any feedback from him?
Yeah. So overall, I love the track. I think I could see it on Purified with a couple minor changes, but I thought I don't know what you think about the hi hat Crimson, but hi hat I think it was like it sounds like a 909, like a super classic house
Yeah.
hi hat, and I thought it was a bit dry,
Mhm.
and at some point during the track when you at the second part of the drop when there's a noise fall effects
Mhm.
that with the hi-hat it fits so well, so I think you could layer the hi-hat with some a more noisy hat. It would I think it would work better with the dark vibe of the track, but that was just my personal opinion of the hi-hat, so no big deal. uh, at 2 minute 07 and 2 minute 17 the effects was way too loud,
Mhm.
but no, not a big thing. And I think also the breakdown is fabulous. Really, really, I love that. I was surprised. This is really good, and I'd love to hear the melody more clearly during the breakdown, during the build-up actually, because then you get hooked, and then when it drops, you already like super pumped with the track.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be personal, but sometimes like with this kind of track, putting the melody during the build-up, it hooks you up a lot.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought. But overall, really cool track. And if you could do like more counter melodies or call and response with that track, I think it would be a really cool track, even on Purified. What do you
Yeah.
think, Crimson?
Yeah, man, I like the track a lot. The energy is pretty high. It's a super Christoph vibe, like the vocals are
Yeah.
pretty good. I think vocals were a little bit loud. I just felt it was like a really upfront, especially in the start. You could hear it like it was a little loud. So maybe turn that down like maybe a couple dBs or 3 dBs, etc., and see how that sounds. The other stuff was pretty cool. Obviously, the build up was super cool as well. Yeah, I think you were trying to like in the build up. What I liked was how the speeding up of the LFO on the lead arpeggios like maybe that could be a little bit clearer, but I know that you probably stylistically went for it just because of the fact that you wanted to make it blend a little bit better. So this is kind of this is this is a little bit of a stylistic decision that you might have to make, where either you want it to be super clear and upfront, or do you want it to be a little bit like hidden in the back. But I think like just clear and upfront and everything else kind of like quiet would be great, because then it just like hits harder. And yeah, I think regarding the FX, I agree with you as well. The arrangement is pretty phenomenal in this. I was engaged throughout the track from starting to end. And yeah, and the mix is pretty close to there too. It's like almost there. I think just the effects need to be turned down a bunch. But yeah, all in all, man, I think this was my favorite one. What did you think? Did you like which one? Dream or this one?
Yeah. Yeah, I had three favorites, but
Okay,
yeah, I think one is the best. I think, but it's not by far. But yeah,
yeah. This one, Memories? Is that what the one, or Dream? Which one were you
yeah, yeah.
saying?
The last one, memories. I think
Memories.
memories.
All right, so
I think.
we're gonna move Memories to the start of the line. All right, so we have one last track in the feed, and you can find it in the feedback stream. We got it by Your Luck
Uh,
again. There's another track by Your Luck, and that they
real. Yeah.
submitted. Yeah. All right, reveal. Are you ready to reveal?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Reveal. Show me your true self. Reveal. Who do you want to be? Reveal. Reveal. Show me your true self. Reveal. Who do you want to be? Reveal. Reveal. Show me your true self. Show me your true self. Reveal. Who do you want to be?
Cool.
All right, it's outro. Nice, man. This. I like this one better than the other Your Luck track, but yeah, that could just be my preference of the groove. I love the groove stuff. So what do you think, Joseph?
Yeah, I like the other more, but it was still good, and I see you still use the call and response approach, which is so surprising for producers just to grab that thing. Like I lost year, and then it was like, oh my god, I saw the light. But yeah, I think the intro maybe it's a extended mix, but it would benefit from more like random perk stuff and more checker. It was a bit dry. Like the intro was like it felt like just dry loops with nothing else. So I think that was a bit stale. And also at this 30-second mark, there's like a 2-chord pad hidden in the back that you barely hear, and I thought this would drive the track. So I don't know, maybe it's a mixed thing, but yeah, there's like a pad thing when the track starts, and you kind of don't hear it, but it's there, kind of weird. Other than that, the break is I love the break, really cool. The lead sound like is really cool, epic sound. I wasn't sure about the sound selection because you have like some big like monster-ish synth, and then you have like the classic low pass piano stab that feels kind of deep house classic. So I wasn't sure about those sounds, but I guess it's a matter of personal preference then. What do you think, Crimson?
Yeah, so I think the groove and all that stuff are not bad. I think they have like a little bit of influence from like 8-bit style of stuff. I am not a huge fan of the vocal, to be honest, because it's like it's been overdone a bunch and like Afterlife and stuff, but that's kind of like, I guess it's just something that's a personal preference thing. It's just so many Anima tracks and all is like reality, it's like AI stuff.
Yeah.
So it's I'm just a little cheesed out by that one, but that's again just my personal preference. I think to the normal people who probably don't care that much, like in the general, and those are the people you have to target the music towards, right? So it's not a big deal. The one thing I would say is like in general, the arrangement seems like, I think there's something missing in terms of like the purpose of the arrangement. To me, the purpose of the arrangement is height. Like it's a movie, like you're in the start, you showcase like one thing, like maybe the hero and his like backstory, and then in the second drop you show like the villain and their backstory, and then in the end you show how the hero and the villain like fight. So you have all of the elements come in together, and like everything comes together, and you're like the whole movie is now you see the whole ending. But if you showcase the final fight in the start, then it kind of like leaves more to be desired in the later on, and then it's just the same thing that's just going on throughout the song. So if you have like call and response, the way I approach it is like in the start, show only the call, and you just build up with the call, and then in the second drop you introduce the response, and then finally in the last final drop you introduce the call and response together, and then there you people are like, whoa, that's super cool, like then it comes together. And with the vocal stuff, I would like show it off like towards the end, and in the start just like filter it, like add reverb, do that kind of stuff to like just like hide it, but like give people anticipation. There needs to be anticipation in a song. There needs to be something that people are like, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen next. I wonder if everything just like keeps looping forever, it's not going to create that anticipation. It's not going to create the tension, And then finally, when you show that vocal, then it becomes like, oh shit, what is that vocal? Now you've revealed the vocals, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So yeah, just like focus on like trying to delay gratification, showcase like only certain things, and then going forward, etc., slowly. But yeah, overall, I love the groove. I like how you're approaching this the track with the nice groove. Maybe see if the low end, the groove can, the decay can be reduced a tiny bit to even tighten up the groove a little bit, because I think the bass note goes slightly bit longer, but that's like being very nitpicky. But overall it's pretty good. But I think I think we're at the end of the stream today. Thanks so much, Joseph, to come by and like give us your insight, because I think it's very valuable for all the people in Discord. And Joseph is going to be doing a masterclass with us in the near future, where he will showcase us how to make a track that will get signed to Purified, and and then he's also going to have a tutorial that's going to be coming up, where he'll talk, he teach you sample selection. So Joseph, you want to give us a little bit an idea of why sample selection is so important, or preset selection?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that even for me, I'm not the best at sound design, and the whole preset drama internet thing. You always hear about people like shaming people that use preset, but the thing is, I mean, if it wasn't for preset, I wouldn't be doing music ever. And preset made me kind of fell in love into sounds and make me want to create my own sounds. So, people have, some people, they do this as their main job, doing presets. So you shouldn't like rely on absolutely doing everything from scratch. It's okay to use presets. I use a lot of presets. All of my signed tracks filled with presets. Of course, I tweak everything, but it's still presets. And sometimes when you browse, preset is gonna give me the idea of the track, even if I wasn't thinking about that. So that's also extremely important, and that's how I made maybe half of my tracks by accident like that.
Mhm.
So I don't know how about you, Crimson, but for me it's extremely important.
Same
Preset
thing.
is
I
yeah.
keep telling my students, like, don't bang your head against sound design so much. Like, everybody's so obsessed with sound design. I think it's great.
I
You
know.
can learning sound design is great, but there are already such great sound designers out there that just create the best tools for you. You just need to pick the right ones and just go hard with it. Because I'll promise you this, man, like, spending time on sound design, you're going to be taking away your time from, like, the more important things like arrangement, creating that songwriting skills for call and response, and understanding how to even mix and master your tracks well. I think sound designs are great, but you just need to like, you just find the right samples and then reverse engineer, and that's also the fastest way to learn. Reverse engineering from presets that are already made out there by professionals who've been doing this for years, that way you save at least like 2 years of your life going through YouTube, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Fuck you too.
yeah, exactly. YouTube is just a distraction at this point. It's procrastination. Learning sound design is procrastination at this point, so
Yeah.
so I think this is the biggest thing you can do is, watch the tutorial that Joseph is going to become putting out about how to find good presets and how to find good samples for your track, etc. And we will have that out to you very soon. Thanks for dropping by, Joseph. Do you want our listeners to listen to any specific music by you that you would want them to hear?
I mean, my own music.
Yeah, of course, your own music.
Everything is on Spotify for now. I have a couple things planned for the end of summer from Sakura, but I mean, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
everything is on Spotify.
So guys,
I don't.
you can find Joseph Crime on Spotify. He has had some great release. Atita is one of my absolute favorites, which has been playlisted a bunch, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
highly recommend you go check this out. And thanks again, Joseph, for being part of the stream, and happy to move forward with your masterclass that will be coming up real soon.
It was a pleasure, man.